Hey, what's up, filmmakers? Welcome back to yet another late night live stream. And I know this is a little bit later than I usually do. So if you're still up, thank you so much for joining. And if you're catching this on the live replay, what's up? It's great to have you here as well. And it's going to be a good time. So, of course, we're going to be talking about what you saw in the title, which is turning your camera hobby or obsession, as I say, into a side hustle. So if you're anything like me, you probably own at least one camera. I mean, if you're watching this, I'm not sure, why you would be if you don't own a camera and at least play around with it and use it from time to time. So for most of us, I think that this sort of thing starts out as a hobby. I mean, I can think back to when I really had one of my first cameras, and it was like a little point and shoot that, you could zoom in and out with, had the T and the W on it for just zooming in and out, telephoto versus wide. And it was all just built in. It was terrible. I think it was maybe like 7 megapixels. No, probably less than that. That's even too high. Like 5 megapixels or something like that. A little tiny digital camera. And I just had a ton of fun playing around with that when I was much younger, back in the days of like high school. I didn't have anything like that in junior high or younger. I played with my dad's old like Sony camera. I think every kid, every kid in my generation, I feel like played with one of those old dad cams that you could zoom in and out with all the home videos and stuff. So anyways, I think a lot of this starts for us as hobbies. And so that's what I'm trying to say is back in the day when I was in high school, I had that little camera and I'd play around with it. And mostly I just did like a lot of like little music video type stuff with it. For those of you that don't know, really one of my biggest hobbies that I started with was guitar and music and singing and everything like that. I got a guitar hanging over there in the corner, a couple guitars in the other room and stuff. So huge fan of that. And so I would just film myself having fun with that. And I didn't really ever think that I would have a profession using a camera and getting paid to do it. That just didn't seem like a possibility for me. Let me know down in the chat below. Did you ever think that you would be making money using a camera? And if you're not yet, that's okay. Let me know. And I see a couple of you guys all popping in here. So I want to say, hey, what's up to anyone that's jumping in? Say what's up, where you're at, what time of day it is for you. I know it's late for me here, but Z Fazley, what's up? How you doing, man? Or girl, I don't know. Z Fazley, welcome to a live stream with us here tonight. It's great to see you here. So like I was saying, your camera can start off as a hobby. And let me know, did you buy a camera intentionally to go out and start doing photography or video work with it? Or did you just buy a camera and think, hey, this is going to be a lot of fun and I'm going to play around and take pictures of my dog or my kids or, like my hikes or whatever it is? I would love to know how it started for you. Because if you found this channel, you're probably pretty passionate about cameras like I am. So it all started for me just playing around with cameras, having a good time, making like little short films, a bunch of skits and things like that. Used to make all kinds of goofy, Star Wars things. Maybe someday I'll show some of them on the channel. They're terrible, absolutely the worst acting. I mean, we didn't even have enough money to buy like actual toy lightsabers. We literally found sticks like from a tree that had fallen off, and we just like spray painted them. Not even the right colors, because it was just a spray paint can that we had around, like in the garage. So we painted them like yellow and like weird colors. I think we had like maybe some red and green, which could work, but terrible, like curvy, terrible lightsabers. Made a whole short film with it. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here. Sorry about that. So I want to talk about what are some things that you can do right off the bat before I get too deep into this, that you could do as a side hustle. So right off, the first one, and I think this is absolutely the most obvious. So if you have a camera and you've been doing photography with it or video, and it's just been kind of a fun thing to do and you've been learning it and playing around with it, there's a good chance that there's a family member, an associate, a friend, or someone that needs some actual work done and that they're willing to pay for it. So if you kind of are talking to someone and you hear them talking about, hey, we have something as simple as some family photos coming up, or, my daughter's graduation or whatever it is, maybe you could think, hey, this would be a good time for me to go out and do some photography I know I'm talking about photo here, but you can also, do video work as well. Some people like to get little, actual videos of, big events in their life going on, even things like births and stuff like that. I don't think I'd ever do that. I don't want to be in any hospital while someone's giving birth, but I've seen some videos like that they kind of recap it in like a nice appropriate way. So obviously, there's all different ways to get started, but something as simple as just doing some videos for family and friends, kind of take the pressure off to get started into it. And they're probably not going to pay you a lot of money starting off, but hey, maybe $100 or a couple $100. So like, hey, I don't have a ton of money, but I'd love for you to come and film, my kid's recital or whatever. I've been really wanting to capture that and stuff. There's lots of simple things like that can get you started. I know for me, really some of the first things that I did was family photos, and I really started just playing with photography, and then I started getting more and more into video. I think they're two totally different beasts. Both of them could be incredible careers. For me, video is really my focus, but obviously they can kind of get tied together, and I do a lot of photography for different stuff as well, but not as common as video. All right, so let's see who else is jumping into the chat here. We have Feature Presentations. What's up from upstate New York? It's late over there, man. It's like almost midnight. Welcome. Malachi Coppinger says, yo, because of you, I just bought a V-mount battery today. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, V-mounts are awesome. I mean, it's such a great way to power your camera and other accessories all at the same time and just keep that battery life going literally all day. So that's sick, man. Callan's Life, what's up? How you doing? Z Farley says, I bought my first camera back in 2003. I was doing graphic design back in Afghanistan, and it turned out to be my passion, and I'm stuck with it until now. Dang, dude. Yeah, that's sick. So back in Afghanistan, that's a whole nother life. Very, very different place to come from where I'm from. So very cool stuff, man. I bet you did like a lot of really cool work with that from freaking 2003 until now. So you've been doing it a lot longer than me, 17, 18 years. So that's cool. I also started out, honestly, with graphic design as well. So I played around with the camera when I was younger a lot and just had fun with it, but didn't really think that it was a good, I didn't even realize that you could make, a full living doing it. I didn't think that I could anyway. So I started out as well doing a lot of graphic design with things like Photoshop, and a little bit of Illustrator and stuff. So I did a lot of work like that. It was actually one of my favorite classes back in the day. It's called New Media. My teacher's name was Mr. Rock. If you're out there, I'm sure you're not listening to this. There's no way. But Mr. Rock was a cool dude, and he had the coolest name. Actually, same last name as me, Rock Smith. Cool dude. Taught us a lot about that stuff. And he, I remember one time he actually let us do the live news for the high school. So I'm kind of reminiscing on the old days here, but that was one of the first times that I ever sat in front of a camera and was like, hey, I'm on camera presenting, read a teleprompter. I'd never done that in my life. And it was on a green screen too, with the little fake desk. It was a whole broadcasting setup to do the school's news. And that was just fun, but I never really thought, hey, I'm going to do this someday for a living. And now thinking back, it's crazy because today, what did I film? I filmed live content, kind of news-ish content for podcasts and just covering live events and things like that today, just alone. And I never thought that I would be doing that and, running a teleprompter and stuff. So it's funny where life takes you. You don't even realize where it's going to take you until it starts taking you down that path. Sorry, I'm getting on these different tangents here, but I feel a lot of you guys that watch the channel or subscribed and stuff like that, you don't know a ton about me personally because I just share a lot of tips and tutorials and things like that. So I don't dive into kind of the backstory. So let's see. Flores Media says, I did a holiday video for my local chamber, and since then I've had 2 brides approach me to film their weddings. Take on that work. It'll lead to better paying jobs. Heck yeah, exactly. That's really cool. So I feel it's often like that. It's a lot of the times word of mouth. So you start doing jobs and then as simple as that, hey, did a couple jobs, and then people start approaching you much more frequently because they saw your previous work, even if you just pasted it or posted it up on Facebook or whatever it was, something really simple, and they hear that you can do it and they trust you and they like you. So they're like, hey, I bet he could do a great job for me, he or her or whatever. So I think that's really cool, and congratulations on getting more work, especially as 2021 is kicking off. I hope that video work keeps going up and things get better for us videographers, because I know if you guys were anything like me, we lost a lot of clients, a lot of people stopped advertising, everyone got kind of scared. So hopefully things go back to a little bit of a more normal for video and live events and things like that as this year progresses. Malachi Coppinger, what's up? He says, also just finished my first high budget commercial today. Oh, sick, man. So I don't know if you got your V-mount battery in time for that, but that's really cool. It's really exciting to do some of those bigger commercial budget videos that are more scripted out and planned out and everything like that. So I think that's awesome. Really exciting. So I want to keep going on some of the different things here that you can do for that side hustle. So besides obviously just starting off, getting your feet wet with friends, family, maybe some associates, doing videos for them for kind of on the cheap, you can do something as simple as uploading the footage that you've already taken to stock footage sites. So I've talked about this on the channel before, but it is a good way to just make a little bit of extra side cash. Now, it's not the most lucrative thing ever. You're not going to make like thousands of dollars a month doing it unless you literally have thousands of clips loaded up online that are high quality and people are seeking after. So for me, I only have a couple hundred up. I think I have maybe 100, between 150 and 200 clips live right now on stock sites. Not even that much. And it makes usually around $50 to $75 a month. So it's not a ton of money, but if I upload a lot more, it could be much more. And hey, that's enough to pay for, an internet bill and a cell phone bill or something like that combined. So that's nice to have that bit of extra income that I uploaded some of it years ago, totally forgot about, and just here and there, get those sales. So I bet you that if you go back through your old hard drives and footage, you can find stuff that could be used for stock footage. Just make sure that you have, the different sign-offs and everything for using that. So if you show any faces or talent in it, you definitely got to get something signed off for them, giving you permission, a little contract. I can't think of the word right now. If you could think of it, type it down in the comment below. And then, if you're in certain locations and buildings, sometimes you got to get basically a waiver as well to load those up. Now, the site that I use is blackbox.global, and I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I just want to tell you guys about it because it's so freaking easy to use. So basically, you upload your footage clips to their site, and then they put them onto all the different platforms for you, the popular ones like Shutterstock, Pond, 5, Video Hive. They just distribute out all your footage for you, so it puts all these feelers out there, right? Your footage, whatever shot it is going to pop up on all these different sites for you, and you don't have to do anything else. So honestly, it's super nice. And then at the end of each month, they just send you a check for whatever it is that you sold. So it is really set it and forget it. I just upload them. They distribute them all out. It doesn't even have my name on it. It's I think they have their own name, Black Box or something, on the clips that are uploaded. It's just like a giant conglomerate. And then they give you whatever you made minus a small cut. I'm not sure how much the cut is. I think it's 10% or something like that. It's been a while since I looked at that, but they do take a small cut for the convenience. But for me, it's a huge convenience and time saver. So let me know down in the chat, do you guys have any footage up on stock sites? I would love to know if you're making any money doing that. And if you are, how many have you loaded up? Do you have thousands or hundreds or just a couple? I would love to know. All right, so get back to the chat here. A couple more people popping in. Let's see. Z Farley says, my first paid gig was in 2010. Anything before that was all free. I'm currently based in Seattle, Washington, and I do weddings and fashion photography now. Okay, that's cool. So you bought your first camera back in 2003. That's what, we were talking about earlier in the chat. So it took 7 years for you to, to finally feel comfortable or whatever it was to get a paid job. That's a decent amount of time, but I imagine by then you had, a pretty significant skill and felt really comfortable doing that. I think that's totally fine. That's what this whole video is about, is taking that hobby and turning it into a side hustle. So it sounds like to me, it probably started out for you as a hobby for a long time, and then you realized, hey, I can make money doing this, or people will pay me to do that. So I think that's really cool. It doesn't have to happen right away. You don't have to buy a camera. Like, I see some people buy a camera and then they're like, hey, I'm a photographer now, or I'm doing wedding video or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, ew, do you know anything about that? Like, you just started, you just got the camera. Chill for a second, take a couple months, even maybe take a year, and just learn it in and out and do like as much as you can before you start charging people for it. I mean, maybe you could start sooner than that, but for me, I like to kind of dig into it a little bit more before you start charging for it. I can't remember the exact timeline, but once I had bought a camera, it was, I don't know, not a year, but somewhere around that, 8 or 9 months into a year, something like that, until I actually started charging anyone at all for any work. Before that, it was all just learning and for fun and everything like that. So, let's see. Flores Media says, tired of Facebook turning everything into 720p. Some videos I see appear in HD or even 4K. Any tips on how to stop Facebook from turning my videos into 720p? Yeah, so the answer is no. Honestly, you can upload, really high quality footage to Facebook, but whatever it is, however their algorithm or whatever works, it can just compress that stuff down. And basically, it depends all on what device you're watching it on as well. Obviously, if you're watching on mobile, it usually defaults to something much lower res, like even 360p, because it's good enough for how small these little screens are. So it actually looks decent, and it's all going over the network or whatever. So they're just saving you data and making it faster and getting rid of that buffer time. But if you're on a computer and you can't go to the gear icon and switch to 1080p or even 4K, that's a little strange. If you uploaded it in a higher resolution, but they never offer that in any way, then that's a little weird. But usually it defaults to something lower, and YouTube does the exact same thing. But yeah, I don't know of any way to make sure that they don't crush it down and make it available in 1080p or whatever if they're not allowing that. So Domino Stories, what's up? How you doing? Welcome back to another live stream. Always good to see you in the chat. So what we're talking about again is turning your camera hobby into a side hustle. And we've already talked about a couple options, doing videos and photography for friends and family. We've talked about stock footage. And I want to talk about something that's getting more and more popular, and I think it will be this year even more, is live streaming. So obviously, you guys are catching me on the live right now or possibly on the live replay. And it is really, really needed right now with everyone, distancing and not holding events. It's important to be able to live stream. So if you have a camera and you've never done live streaming before, I encourage you to look it up, see what camera model you have, see if it's capable of outputting a clean signal over HDMI or possibly SDI, whatever it is. See if it's capable of doing that without adding all the settings to the screen or something. Make sure it can output, a good clean signal, at least 1080p. And then look into some of the equipment that you need to be able to do live streaming. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go out there and start, live streaming on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, because no one's really going to pay you to do that. But there are clients that need that sort of stuff. So there may be local businesses around you that usually host events, and maybe you even know of some that have been canceled that you attend. You could reach out to them in an email or whatever it is. If you have a phone number for the business, and just say, hey, I saw you guys canceled the event this year. It's a bummer. I love going to that thing or whatever it is. What are you going to be doing instead? You're going to be live streaming it or what? And they might be like, nah, we're not really sure. We've thought about it, but we have no clue what to do. And you say, well, I'm a videographer and I know all about live streaming, and I could definitely live stream that event for you. I'd love to do it. And then, that could pique their interest, and they'd be like, hey, yeah, I'd love to know more. Send me over an estimate or a quote or something. And that could kind of get your foot in the door there. I know that in 2020, we did an insane amount of live streaming. I mean, almost every single day we were live streaming, but for some clients that we just live stream with every day. But all different kinds of clients throughout the past year have been live streaming events and virtual events and things. And I think that's going to keep happening in 2021. So definitely look into that, because it's a great way to make money with your camera. You don't have to have a ton of talent and equipment and skills to do it. Really, you just need a camera, like I said, with that clean output, probably a tripod, and then a computer that you can attach it into. There's all different things you can use. I'm using the Blackmagic desktop, like, what is this thing called? Blackmagic desktop video. And it just allows me to plug an HDMI into it and then into my computer. There's all different ones. I think it's Elgato is another one that allows you to plug in a full-size HDMI to it and then into USB, just a standard USB-A into your computer. There's a bunch of ones. They're pretty affordable. Most of them are around 100 to 150 bucks, I think, to allow you to bring that signal in. And then you can use free streaming software like OBS, which is what I'm using right now for this live stream. So look into it, start offering it to your clients. I've talked about this even in the past, but there are people that are having weddings and they want them live streamed because not all their family and friends can travel and fly right now, and they'll pay to just have you live stream it. You don't even have to film the entire wedding. You might just live stream the ceremony or live stream something a little bit more depressing like a funeral, which has been needed as well. So I think that it's going to be something that continues to really be needed. Even once all this clears up, live streaming isn't going anywhere. The platforms love it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, they all love live streaming, and clients are taking advantage of that. So if you haven't yet, look into live streaming, figure out how to do it, and figure out how you can charge for it, because it's great. When you're done, you're pretty much done. You don't have to do any editing, post-production, audio, importing your footage, exporting, all that junk. Pretty much once the event is over, it's over, and that live stream lives on that platform, you know, for however long until they decide to take it down, and you don't have to do all that work after the fact. So it's a great way to make some income with your camera that actually doesn't take a ton of work on the tail end or anything. So if you guys are getting some good stuff out of this live stream, please hit the like button right now. You know what they say, helps the algorithm. So please smash like and subscribe as well. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, what on earth are you doing here? I'm just so sad. So please hit subscribe. Let's see here. Flores Media says, looking for wisdom. How do I make it into a sustainable business? Customers might not hire me every month for photos or videos, but how do I create a monthly income, chase new customers constantly? Yeah, it's a great question. That's something that we definitely seek as, you know, videographers and photographers, is getting those repeat customers, or what I call them, you know, what we often call them, are getting them on retainer. So what I would recommend is, you know, instead of asking, like hoping that they hire you every month, you could, on the next job that maybe they go to hire you for, say they're like, hey, we need a little commercial or promo video for this new thing coming out, or this new product, this new service, whatever it is, event. You know, you could say, that's awesome. You know, let me write up an estimate for you. And then you could say in that estimate, like, basically you're pitching them. You say, hey, every month I can make a 2 to 3 minute video for you, or whatever it is, you know, a 3 minute, 4 minute video for you on whatever topic, product it is that you want. And I will do that for you every single month at this dollar value. I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say like $600 a month. It's not a ton, or maybe like $800 a month, whatever it is, but $800 a month every single month is actually good income, especially if you have a couple people doing that, or on top of some other jobs, and you can get it all mixed together. So you could just present that as an idea to them, and they may love that and think, you know what, that's not bad, knowing that you can come back every month and, you know, film in our business. You'll have other footage already stacking up, and it'll make it quick and easy to get these videos out, get them out on social media, that sort of thing. So maybe kind of come up with a package that is like a retainer monthly package, and just present that to them and see what they say. There's been a lot of clients that we've offered that to, and they've ended up going with it because they're like, yeah, you know, that sounds great. I'd love to just not worry, because a lot of like people in business worry, like, how much is this really going to cost me? Like, have you ever gone out to get an estimate for something and you're like, oh, that sounds nice. Let's say like I don't know if you guys like have ever remodeled something, like you needed to get new flooring in or redo the kitchen or whatever. So just say hypothetically, if you've watched HGTV, you know what I'm talking about. They're always like, the hosts are always like, oh yeah, this is going to cost like, $10,000 to do, da 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 da. And then like really down the road, they're like, it's actually going to cost 12. We didn't realize that we had to tear out the ceiling and there was mold over here we had to remove and all this like junk, that made the price go up. So that, scares clients and customers, and they don't want to like pay those overages and such. So if you can get them on a monthly retainer, it's like, hey, every month for $500, whatever it is, I'm going to make you a 1-minute social media video or a couple 1-minute social media videos, just like different slight versions and stuff. They might love that because they're like, hey, I know that price is never going to increase on me, and I'll just keep paying that and getting these simple videos made. So trust me, it is something that can work. You just have to present it to them and present it to enough customers to see what they say. So hopefully that kind of answers your questions. Reflection check. What's up? Welcome to the live stream. Flores Media again says, how can I live stream on the go? Any way to get my camera live for events without a complicated setup like I have at my church? What do I do for a reliable internet? Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to do this, and I've done a ton of live streaming on the go across the country in weird places. I'm telling you, like in just like random hotel conference rooms, literally out on the street, outside of buildings, in cities, just for all different random things. And there's very expensive ways to live stream from anywhere, which involve a live U unit. If you're not familiar with that, you could look it up, but that's probably not the route that you're talking about because that's too expensive, but essentially allows you to live stream from anywhere. It's really what the news uses and stuff. We have 3 of those at the business, the studio that I work at. But if you don't have access to something like a live U system, the best way is whatever the customer is. If you're on the go, ask them if they have, actual like hardline Ethernet connections there. So if it's at a conference, a conference hall in a hotel or something like that, or an event venue, there's a really good chance that they're going to have, internet jacks on the wall that you can plug into and just make sure that they're hot and activated. Usually, a lot of times those venues make you pay for them, but that's definitely going to be the best way to get good internet. Otherwise, there are other things you could use like hotspots and stuff. I don't know if I'd recommend them though, because they could be a little bit spotty, but you can get like the Verizon MiFi and other like little streaming hotspots that you could definitely obviously connect your laptop to. And that's going to give you a good internet connection anywhere. But the chances are you're going to like burn through that data. So you got to find one with an unlimited plan, because if it has like limitations on it, live streams take a ton of data, and you could, in just one live stream, use 10 gigabytes or more of your data and just burn through a plan, and overages are crazy expensive. So you could look into some of those hotspots from different, phone providers, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, any of those pretty much all have their own hotspots. You could look into that. That would be the most affordable way to hook your laptop up and get internet. Otherwise, at the venue, try to get a hardline Ethernet. Those would be my top suggestions. There are, of course, a ton of really professional solutions for that, like LiveU, but they're not very affordable for most of us, especially doing this like on the indie freelance on your own side. Great question. Let's see. Domino Story says, green screen are replacing LED panel production. What's your opinion about that? Is it better? Yeah, I've actually done an entire video on this, Domino Story, so check that out. It's in one of my previous live streams. If you go back and just look at past live streams, it's a playlist of mine. I think like the title is something like LED walls are the future or something like that. And obviously Mandalorian and some other shows are really piloting that and making LED walls like really incredible technology. So yes, I definitely think that they are the future. I don't think green screens are going anywhere right now though, because they're much cheaper to use than LED walls. I mean, the LED walls used for Mandalorian are multi-millions and millions of dollars. And it's just an incredible amount of technology and people and resources that go into that, a whole team. Whereas green screen is cheap. You can just paint walls and sets or hang, cloth and things like that, it's so much cheaper and easier to do. And then just later in post-production, you of course have to pay a VFX team and stuff to do it. So I don't think it's going anywhere, but I think the look of being able to get it all in camera with LED walls behind them is really, really cool. And I think that's going to grow and grow and grow. I think it was Sony that just released a new like giant LED wall. Sorry, keep scratching my eye. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I think Sony has a brand new wall that looks really cool for that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's going anywhere right now. Okay, so I want to stay on top of this. We just finished up talking about how live streaming is a great way to make some extra income with your camera, make that side hustle money, even on weekends and things like that. I mean, you might have a full-time job. I've had a full-time job for a long time where I was just doing camera work on nights and weekends, and any time that I could even get work off to go do jobs. So let's take a look here now. So another way that you can make some side money with your camera and your camera hobby, let's say you have a couple cameras, you could definitely think about renting out your camera package or camera as a package online. So there's all different websites to do this, but the most popular one I can think of is ShareGrid. I think it's sharegrid.com. And again, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but you can go on there and find different camera packages for rent in your city if it's available there. I'm not sure if it's worldwide, but I know that it is nationwide in the US right now. You can find all different cameras on there. So if you have one of the more popular in-demand cameras like a Sony a7S III, a7S II, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and 6K, those are really popular like mirrorless cameras, and I often see them on that website and other rental websites, and sometimes they rent for a good amount of money. You could rent them for like $150 for 2 days or whatever it is. And if you're not going to be using it for a project or anything, that's a great way to make some money off your camera that you invested money into. Because, we all know cameras are expensive. They can cost thousands of dollars. But let's say you rent out that camera 10 times for $100, it's paid for. 10 times, that's not likely to happen in 1 month, but over the course of a year, it might. And then the camera pays for itself being a rental. Now, of course, there are some things that go into that. Renting out your camera can be a little bit scary, thinking about getting it damaged, broken, lost, whatever it is, stolen. But I don't know all the details, like the legal stuff on that, but I imagine that ShareGrid has some sort of insurance plan or something that you can offer or buy or whatever it is to cover your expensive equipment, because people rent out like really high-end cinema cameras on there, like Reds, Aries, and that sort of thing. So, some of the higher end like Sony FX9, the FS7, those sort of things. So definitely there's got to be some sort of insurance and coverage for your camera. So if you're worried about it getting like totally broken or destroyed or stolen or something, look into it. I'm sure there's some sort of coverage for that, or you can get your own insurance, obviously, for your equipment if you're using it as a business. But yeah, I think that's a great way to make some side income. You can rent out just the camera body. You could rent it out as a full package and maybe get people more interested. So you have the camera and maybe a lens or a couple lenses and a couple batteries. Take some nice photos of it and list it up on ShareGrid or another similar website. And then, just wait for the request to roll into your email or whatever and see who's interested in renting it out. A lot of times people just need a second camera for a shoot. Maybe they don't own multiple and they're doing an interview and they need 2 or even 3 cameras and they need something that can match. You might have the right Sony or Blackmagic or Canon camera or whatever it is to match up with the rest of the cameras that have to be their B cam or their C cam. So I definitely think that's worth looking into. If this has been something that you've invested a lot of money into and you're struggling to get work right now or something, definitely consider renting out your camera. Sorry, all this talking gets me really thirsty. I just got to keep downing the water. So, all right, let's see what else is going on down here. Flores Media says, dude, great idea. Thanks. How do I come up with numbers to charge? I've been thinking of like $60. I'm thinking maybe Atom Mini Pro, since it encodes and not depending on a stacked computer. What do you think? Yeah, so as far as charging, are you talking about charging for, doing live events and things like that? $60 to stream a live event is like incredibly low. I don't know if you said this earlier, but if you're in America, I think $60 is way, way, way too cheap to like live stream someone's event. Definitely don't do that. You're going to undercut yourself, undercut the competition, something like that. I don't know. Maybe you missed a zero, maybe $600. I don't know. Anyways, if you're live streaming an event, definitely think about the amount of hours that go into it, the amount of preparation hours that go into it, because you got to get your batteries charged, your cards cleaned, everything wrapped up, boxed up, everything like that. Yeah, so you definitely want to charge more than that. Okay, I'm seeing in your comment now you're saying monthly, like you said. Yeah, $60, again, not enough money to charge for a monthly service. I mean, think about all the hours they're going to go into making a video for someone every single month. Maybe if you already have all the footage, maybe you're getting it from stock sites and you've already shot a lot of footage with them and you're like, hey, I can make a bunch of videos with this. I can edit this up and make all different videos. Even $60 is not enough to spend a couple hours editing it. So I would more think in the couple hundreds, for that. $300 a month, whatever it is, if you're just spending time editing and not going out and shooting, or $250 a month if you're just like, hey, I'm just going to edit a video for you with the footage I already have. It's only going to take me a couple hours to do. I could do that for, $250 or whatever. I can't tell you exact pricing. Obviously, it depends on where you live, your market, what the client is, how much money they have to spend on marketing, advertising, video production, everything like that. So it's hard to give you an exact dollar amount. I don't know enough about it, but I can tell you right off the bat, if you're in America, $60 for any video service is way too cheap. Do not undersell yourself. I mean, you're going to show up with equipment that's literally worth thousands of dollars, way more than they're paying you. So just got to keep that in mind. It's incredibly expensive to do this business. So yeah, definitely charge more than that. And just to answer your question really quick, yes, the Atom Mini would be a great way to do live streaming, get 4 HDMI signals in if you have multiple cameras. So absolutely, I think that's a great way. Let's see what else. Reflection Check says, which lens best for product photography or Canon R? Yeah, I see a lot of questions coming in from me here. So that's a really difficult question to say. I'd say for product photography, the best type of lens, is probably going to be a macro lens, because you need to get really close up on that product, especially if it's something smaller, something like smaller than a foot around, and you need to get close and show detail. Consider getting a macro lens. Canon, if you use Canon or do a lot of EF mount with adapters and things like that. I think you said the Canon R earlier. They make the 100 millimeter macro lens. It's a little bit expensive. I think it's around between $800 and $1,000. But it's a fantastic macro lens for doing product photography. You also talked about, can you explain 3-point lighting? I've done that on the video before. Check out one of my videos in the past posted on the channel that's literally called 3-point lighting with only one light. And that's a great cheap way to do it. So hopefully that answers your question, or at least I can direct you in the right way of a video I've already done. So we've talked about a bunch of different ways that you can make money with your camera as a side hustle. And there's a couple more things that I do want to cover and hit on. So, we talked about getting into this with, doing stuff for family and friends, renting out your camera gear, selling stock footage, live streaming events. And we've kind of touched on this a bit, but I think it's important to note that, if you want to turn this not just into a hobby, but like a real full-time thing, you should really consider getting into more professional corporate shoots besides just weddings. There are a lot of guys out there that can make their entire living doing weddings, especially if you love it. That's great. I think you should pursue that. But I've done a lot of weddings in the past, but I just got sick of doing them every weekend. It usually sucks up your weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, late nights. So if you have a family, you don't want to be away from them every single weekend. So it's a nice idea to get a little bit more into the corporate business work and doing like little ads and commercials and things for like restaurants, realtors. You can go take videos of houses that are for sale. I know the market is kind of crazy and depends on where you live, but there's a lot of people that are looking forward to that sort of thing. So it's definitely worth getting more into some of the professional videography to help you make that money, and even take it from, you know, a hobby into that side hustle, but even into a full-time gig, possibly with some of the higher paying clients in the business world. So, all right. Flores Media says, making videos monthly for businesses or live streaming events. I'm in AL. I think AL is Alabama is what you're referencing. So, yeah, you could definitely do both. Absolutely. You know, you can make videos every single month for clients, and you know, they're on a retainer with you. They pay you a couple $100 every month to come out and maybe shoot for just an hour once a month, get some talking head of the CEO or some employees or testimonials of a customer or whatever it is, edit it up and send it out. And also live stream. There's no reason you can't do both. You could live stream one day and the next day go out and do that shoot with that company. You should be really diversifying. I don't think it's a good idea to just say I'm only a live streamer, I only live stream events and stuff, because things change so quickly. You saw what happened last year. Events just like freaking ended, and you know, so you just never know what's going to happen. It's a good idea to be able to live stream and make videos for businesses consistently. So, suck my shutter. Interesting username says Straw Lens. I'm not sure what you're referencing there, but I think you might be talking about a macro lens, the really long like probe lens. Is that what you're referring to? It's a great lens for product photography. If you want to get like insanely close and feel like you're literally like standing as a small like little being next to this giant object, if that's what you're talking about. Reflection check. Thanks for the love from Pakistan. Cool. So it's great to see you guys here. I know it's late here. It's 10:30 p.m. in Arizona. It's past midnight on the East Coast, and around the world, it's probably morning and afternoon. So I appreciate all you guys being here. If you've been getting good stuff out of this, please remember, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. I think that we've covered most everything that I wanted to talk about tonight about, you know, using your camera to make some side hustle money. And I just want to let you guys know that it is possible. I started out with like my first professional like camera that I got was the Canon Rebel T3i. That was back in 2013. I can't believe it's already 2021 and I've been doing it, you know, more professionally this long now. And it just started out as a total absolute side hobby, shooting photography with my friends and just asking them like, hey, you want to go out and shoot some photos with me? Shooting them with my sister and my family, being that weirdo dude with the camera at like family events or like parties and things like that, and just like playing around, learning my camera, being that weird dude and making videos just when we're hanging out. But you know what? It can take you places. So if you're that person right now and you're just kind of learning, I encourage you, keep going, because someday you could make your entire living doing it. And if you don't want to be stuck in an office job the rest of your life, or doing construction, or working in a restaurant, waiting tables, whatever it is, keep on going, and it's going to build into something more and more as you keep doing it more. And it could be something that you can make a full living on and make great money with. And even if you don't make the most money ever, at least you know you're doing something that you love every single day, that's creative. You're having fun doing it and getting paid doing it. So definitely, you know, take me as an example. I'm not the best example here, but I will say that this all started out for me as a complete hobby, turned into a side hustle that I was just doing late night on the weekends, and now it's my full-time profession that I've been doing for many years. So it can be done. If you're not doing it now, keep going. I promise you, you can definitely do it. So take a look at a couple of the final chats here, and then I'll let you guys get back to your night or the rest of the day. So, Travel Troll, hi guys, dude, what's up? Welcome in. You're just hitting the tail end here. Tommy Calloway, what's up, man? It's always good to see you on the late night live streams. I know you're the same way, man. We both work full time. He's saying hobby hustle is where it's at. We both have full-time jobs and families and stuff, so it's hard to get to this. So I know I catch you on the live stream late at night as well. Yeah, you just hit 40,000 subs, dude. Congratulations, man. Welcome to the 40,000 club. That's where we're both sitting at right now. So it's awesome to see you here. And, you know, I think it's a testament from both of us that you can work a full-time job and still do this sort of thing on the side and make money doing it and have fun doing it. So yeah, it's great to see you pop in there last minute. It's the testimony of both of us saying, yes, it can be done. So that's awesome. Flores Media, amen. No more office jobs and no more teaching in the classroom. Yeah, I feel that. So office jobs, just constantly, pushing numbers and that sort of thing can get really boring and draining. So it's nice to be able to create and make money doing it. So yeah, I think we've covered a lot of different topics tonight, different ways to make that money on the side in your spare time. And I hope you guys got something from this. Definitely, again, if you got something out of this and enjoyed the live stream, hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream. Hopefully it's not this late at night or whatever time of day it is for you guys. I would love to connect with you a bit more. And if there's something you want me to talk about in another live stream or video, leave it in the chat or leave it in the comments on the replay of this video, and I'll try to touch on that in a future upcoming video. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you have a good rest of the night or day, whatever it is, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.